Hello, geometry students. So, several of you have gotten in touch with me to let me know that you're still struggling with kind of the difference between undefined terms, defined terms, postulates, and theorems. So, here's another way to think about that. We can start with undefined terms here. And then next to them here, I'll write defined terms. And these two have a lot in common. They're both terms of some kind. They're both talking about vocabulary. And then down here, I'll write postulates and theorems. And I'm going to make this into a little table. And I've grouped these very intentionally because there are different ways that each of these relate to the things that they're next to. So, defined terms and undefined terms are both vocabulary words. These are things like line or angle. They're things we have definitions for. So you can think of those as both vocab words. And the difference is how precisely we've defined them. These, it's kind of, trust me, it's a point. It's, it's over there. And then these are the ones that we defined in a rigorous mathematical manner. Another word that would be good here with vocabulary would be definition. So both of the things in the purple boxes, definition, vocabulary, that kind of situation. Down here, we've got postulates and theorems. And those, they're part of your vocabulary in that you use words to talk about them. But what they are is their rules. And they're often in the form of if, then. I'll go over that with a different orange marker that might be a little easier to see here. So rather than just telling you, like, an angle is what happens if I have two rays that have a vertex in common, they have a common endpoint at that vertex. Here I'm telling you, if some situation is true, then this other thing will happen too. If I have a triangle, then the angles inside that triangle add up to 180 degrees. If, then, and it's some sort of rule, like if I have this, I know something else about it. So these are vocabulary terms that we use to talk about geometry so that we know what we're talking about. And when it's the defined terms, we have those really specific definitions. Here we have the trust me definitions. And that brings me to the other kind of category. Over here are the trust me words. So this left half here is the ones that we just have to trust work. So another way to think of that is these are the fuzzy ones. We have to trust that these postulates work. We can't prove it. We just feel strongly that it's probably true. Seems true. We used less specific definitions for these. These are the ones we used the general, that's how it works words rather than defining them using those undefined terms and other defined terms. These are the ones we go, I just feel the world works that way. We're going to assume it and move on. So I guess another way to put this would be assumptions. And then over here, with the defined terms, we've got the things that we've shown to be true, that we've written out rigorously, that we've done the heavy lifting to trust. So these are the ones that we've shown, proved, locked in. I guess I should go over that in a color you can actually see too. Shown, proved, locked in. So, if it is a definition, it's up here in the top part. And you need to look at, is it one of my 3 undefined terms, or is it one of the ones we have a proper definition for? If it's a rule, if it's some sort of, given this situation, this other situation will happen, then I need to look at, is that something that we proved? Is that something that we've done a proof of? Or is that something we agreed to accept as a postulate? And so far in this lesson, all you've seen are those 4 postulates. Make sure they're in your notes. All 4 of them are postulates. All 4 of them were in the guided notes. Those are your postulates so far. So you can tell it's a postulate because it's one of those. Later on in the semester, we'll prove a bunch of theorems as well, but we haven't started that process yet. So I'm hopeful that this distinction makes things make a little more sense. I'll zoom out so that you can see the whole thing at once. And that is how you can tell which of these 4 things it is.